Hey, what's up? How are you doing? This is Donna St. Louis, and today I'm going to talk about something that I hear people complain about all the time. They are asked to speak for free quite often, or they're getting a free engagement, and they're like, I do not know how to turn this free engagement into dollars, right? They have no idea how to do that. They don't know how to turn a low fee or free engagement into a high profit client. I'm going to actually give you the 5 things that you need to do to make that happen. Even know if this is going to be a high profit client. Because I see so many times that people turn away low fee engagements because they don't know how to convert them to high profit clients. And what they end up doing is taking on a whole bunch of low fee engagements or free engagements and getting nothing except for exposure. And I got to tell you, people always like, oh my God, but exposure is great. No, it's not. Too much exposure can kill you. And if I know that you'll speak for free, and event planners talk, so if event planner A knows that you will speak for free, guess what? Event planner B knows you'll speak for free. Event planner C knows you'll speak for free. And before you know it, you are the free speaker and people will not pay you. Period. The end. So you have completely kind of ruined your market by doing that. So I'm going to tell you how you can do a little bit of conversion on these low fee engagements so you can turn them into profitable engagements if you are going the route of being a free or speaking for exposure type of person. So we're going to talk about that because this is a big deal. It happens a lot. Yes, exactly. So who in the hell am I? So what's up, everybody? My name is Donna St. Louis. And a couple of things you need to know is that I built a 9-figure tech consultancy several years ago. I retired from that. I was homeless. I built a 9-figure tech consultancy. I sold that tech consultancy for $250 million. I retired, and now I run a 7-figure speaking business, and it's speaking, coaching, and consulting. So that's really like my sweet spot. And what do? I help people who are experts. On the entrepreneurial side, I help people who are experts who want to become high profit speakers. And then on the business side, I generally work with experts who want to know how to have a greater level influence over their sales, greater level influence over their client and their ideal clients in target market and target rich environments. And they want to know how to use that influence to close more lucrative deals and better partnerships. So let's get into this seriously because the game has changed. But that bad advice has not, right? So the bad advice is still the same. The bad advice is if you're a new speaker, you have to speak for free. Now, while I am going to talk to you about speaking for low fee, low fee and free, I am not telling you that is the way to go. Quite honestly, I can't even think of the last time I actually gave a free speech. And I am definitely a 5-figure speaker. So generally I'm about $20,000 a speech. So I have not done any free engagements in a very long time. I actually don't recommend that people do free engagements because your reputation for doing a free engagement generally means that you're a free speaker and you just stay on that. So that is the bad news, that people stay. And exposure, everybody's like, oh, but the exposure. We're going to talk about that. Exposure can kill you. The other piece of bad advice that people are giving you is that you have to be on every single solitary social media platform. They hear Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk and all the other ones that are out there, and they're on all these social media platforms. Guys, these guys are multi-millionaires. They are not on those social media platforms. They have someone following them around with a camera, waiting for a piece of gold nugget to fall out of all the bullshit that they say. And then they take that one piece of gold nugget and they put it online for them. 90% of the time, Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk are not even aware of the content that's out there. They are not doing that. They are actually running their business. So that whole social media famous, and yeah, some people are getting that, but it's honestly the few and far between. There are very few Justin Biebers out there. So what happens is I find a lot of people, they're spending all their days, all their nights on social media all the time. And that is all they're doing. And what you don't realize is that there is an entire social media marketing machine that is making that happen. It is not these individuals. And if that is not where you are today, please stop doing it. If you're on social media all day, I can tell you the one thing I know about your ass for sure is that you're not making any money. You are broke as all get out, right? So I'm just saying, like, either you're really, really rich or you're really, really broke. There really is no in between. So it has to be a smart balance. You have to be doing it with purpose. And then the last piece of advice that people have said, and this is one of the worst ones, is that you have to have a best-selling book to get booked. Okay. You do not have to have a best-selling book to get booked. That is another piece of bad advice that people give. In fact, I know people who literally have paid to have their book on the New York Times bestseller list, and it has not increased their bookings at all. That is absolutely not true. Not true. In fact, I can probably count on my hands the time, actually I can count on a finger the time that somebody asked me if I had a best-selling New York Times bestseller, and it was literally once. I know a couple of people who have them and they do get booked, but those people are basically famous in the industries in which they're working. So they don't even need the book. They just happen to be, that book became a bestseller because they're so famous in their industry. All right, so those are the three pieces of bad advice. Number one, you don't have to speak for free. Number two, you shouldn't be on social media all day. And number three, you don't have a book. You don't have to have a book. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, so let's talk about what's really going on, right? So you're speaking, or you want to speak, and you're at the Chamber of Commerce, and you're at the Rotary Clubs, and you're doing all the chapter things, right? But you're not turning those into clients. You're not getting paid. You're going to the big events. You're speaking at the event, and you're speaking for free, and you're giving away all your content, and no matter what happens, you're still not getting paid. You paid for your airfare, you paid for your travel, you paid for your hotel, you paid for everything, and you walked away in a deficit. You're not getting paid. Or even worse, they insulted you by saying, we can give you an honorarium, and then they cracked out a whole $250. Right. So you got the engagement. Congratulations. They paid attention to you, so that's awesome. But now how do we turn that attention into dollars? So the first thing I already told you, number one, dude, seriously, stop negotiating yourself for free. My favorite thing, and here's the worst negotiation that you can do, is, well, this year, I know my fee is normally $10,000, but I'll go ahead and speak for you for $4,000. And then next year, you'll pay me more. Why in the hell would I pay you more money next year for what I just got for $4,000 this year? If I got you for $4,000 this year, when I talk to you again, you know what I'm going to pay you? $4,000. Number one, I know your ass don't know how to negotiate. That's number one. And you're going to take whatever I give you. Number two, I'm never going to pay more for something that I already got. I'm not going to pay $10 for a Whopper that I just got for $1. It does not work that way, right? So you have to be very smart. You have to know that if you go and you negotiate all the way down, that client is not going to pay you more later. They are still going to pay you that same amount, if not less. In fact, they're probably going to try to negotiate less. So you have to be super ridiculously smart in regards to this. If you negotiate down your fee today, recognize that tomorrow, in a year from now, and 2 years from now, that client, when they come back to you, they are going to expect that very low negotiated fee. They are not suddenly going from the $4,000 speaker fee that they gave you to $8,000 next year. Does not work that way. Stop lying to yourself. All right. Number two, how do you know that if you are going to speak to a client for free, that they actually have a good audience that can pay you? This is very important. Okay. So let's say I'm going to use a different number than my speaking fee. I'm going to use something that people are usually comfortable with, because my speaking fee is $20,000. So let's say that my speaking fee was $10,000. All right. So if I get someone who says, but Donna, this is your audience. They are. There is going to be 500 people here, and these are your people. And they're going to hire you. Like, they're going to refer you. This, by the way, this is the BS that we're told. They're going to refer you to other engagements. Like, if you get on stage and rock it, your chance of getting another engagement is so good. It is so good. Like, really, it's great. And I'm like, really? And then the coaching, oh my God. The people here who you can coach, so good. Like, they would really, oh my God, yeah. You're going to get so many coaching clients out of this, girl. You're going to walk away like 6 figures from the back of the room. Okay, that's all bullshit. I'm just gonna let you know. That's not, and let me explain to you why. This is how I find out whether that person is telling me the truth or not. The first thing I'll ask them, and I'll say, okay, so you've had other speakers that have spoken for free? Oh yeah, absolutely. Great. Who are your top 3 best killed it speakers? Because I'm better than them. And they'll tell me who they are. And I'm like, awesome. I love to reach out to them. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of speakers. So 90% of the time when they tell me who this person is, I already know them anyway. And so I could just pick up the phone and call them. And I'm like, awesome. I would love to talk to them, because if they're getting all this business, I'd really like to know how they converted. I don't want to know if they converted. I want to know how they converted. I just want to know what they did, because I'd like to make sure that I'm doing the same thing as well. And usually they're like, oh, well, we don't really like to give out the contact information of other speakers. I mean, how would you feel if we gave out your information to another speaker? I'm like, I'd be fine with it. I mean, that's the industry we're in. I mean, my phone number's on my cell phone number's on my website, so it's cool. And I'm like, well, can you just send them an email and ask them to reach out to me? Or can you just email between the two? I just want an introduction. I mean, this person was there and they killed it. I would really love to talk to them. If they won't let you talk to the speakers that they've had before that killed it, those speakers probably didn't convert 2 pennies. Now, here's the thing. I usually know most of these speakers. They're usually public. I could usually reach them anyway. I could just go online and Google them and find them and send them an email and say, hey, I saw you speak at blah, blah, blah. I'd love to talk to you about how well you did and blah, blah, blah. And can you talk to me? I am not kidding you. Every time I have picked up the phone and called that speaker and I said, so they told me you killed it on the platform and you were one of their top 3. What did you do to convert the room to like make money from the room? I can tell you right now, 90+% of the time, and I'm not kidding you, 9 out of 10 times, people tell me I didn't make 2 pennies from that audience at all. So all that exposure, so you have to check. All that exposure doesn't mean anything. Here's the other thing that you can do. If they go, oh, no, our audience is amazing. I'm like, really? Well, have you set the prices for your tickets yet? No, we haven't tried quite to put that out there. How much are your ticket prices going to be? Probably about $250. Okay, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you just make them $275? And if you're going to have people there, you can afford my $10,000 fee. And you'll make a little extra. Math. Right? Like, this is simple. It's just a math, right? I will tell you right now, I have heard this more than a couple of times. Our audience really, I mean, they're not going to pay an extra $20 or $25. Really? They can't go from $250 to $275? No, they can't. I mean, that's really a big stretch for them. If they can't afford $25, I mean, I spend that at Starbucks on a Saturday. If they can't afford that, then they can't afford me. Again, who you're saying is your ideal client, is my ideal client in that room, is clearly not my ideal client in the room. I just showed you a way for us to make a little extra money, for you to up your rate just a little bit, which you should be probably doing anyway. You can pay me and you can make a little extra. And you just said our clients can't afford an extra $25. Not my ideal client. If they can't afford Starbucks, they probably can't afford me. They're probably not decision makers, because quite honestly, a real decision maker is not balking over $25 extra on the ticket. They're not. That's number 1. And so the first one is, let me speak to your other speaker. The second one is, can you raise your ticket price? Here's your number 3. Here's a great number 3. Number 3 is, how about I do a pre-conference session? And that pre-conference session will be on something that your audience is interested in. Maybe they want to learn something about sales. Maybe they want to learn something about giving presentations. Maybe they want to learn something about speaking and creating a memorable message. Maybe they want to know how to rock the stage and rock the platform. You tell me what your audience is interested in, and what I will do is I will put together a half-day workshop, pre-con workshop the day before, and we'll charge, I don't know, $150, $175 per person. Simple, right? We get 50 people in there, we're close enough to my fee, and that'll be my fee. And that'll be it, however many people we get in there. So why don't we do a pre-conference session like that, sell tickets, get people in the door, you guys send me the list, and I'll do all the marketing. I know our people really won't pay that. They won't pay an extra. All you're telling me is that you're going to expose me to an audience that you are crystal clear will not pay. So why would I want to be exposed to that audience? You've already told me they won't pay. They don't have money. Guys, when people tell you I'm going to expose you to my audience, you have to actually make sure it's an audience you want to be exposed to. If you're just being exposed to broke asses, you ain't going to make no money. Let's just call it what it is. That's how it works. So you have to be clear on who you're being exposed to. Being exposed to people that make you no money is not good exposure. That exposure will kill your business. Exposure kills businesses. It's the right kind of exposure, not the wrong kind of exposure. Okay, so I've given you all those. So now let's talk about the back of the room. You said, you're like, well, damn, Donna, I already took the engagement, right? I know they ain't got no money, but I took the engagement. Now what do I do? Okay. So you don't know. You don't know whether the people in the room have money or not. You don't know. But here's a little tip for you. So let's say you're going to go ahead and you're going to rock the back of the room. And you're really trying to get more clients. You want more coaching clients. Most people make this critical mistake. They're like, I'm going to order, if there's, let me give you the numbers. If there's 500 people in the room, you're going to sell about 20% of those people your book, right? So 20%, 500 people is, math, anyone? Okay, it's about 100. So we got 100 folks. So you're like, oh, awesome. I'm going to sell 100 people my book for $20. So you're probably doing the math. Well, that's good because I'm going to make $2,000. Not really. Hold on. Because that book also costs you probably like $5 each plus another $2 each to print. To ship. And then anything left over has to be shipped back. So let's do some math here. So now it's $700. It's $700 worth of books out of your $1,200. So now you're at $1,300. So you made about $1,300, and we're not talking even about your ship back fees on whatever's left over. Okay, how do you actually make this lucrative? Because quite honestly, $1,300 for an event is not good. You're not getting paid. $1,300 is actually shit. You should be walking away from an event with anywhere between $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000. So this is what I do. What I do is instead of selling a book, is I sell, now, you don't have to have a book. Pause. Because I know everybody's like, but I don't have a book. It's fine. This works whether you have a book or whether you don't have a book. Having a book is just a nice little packaging, but you don't have to have a book. Okay? This is what you're going to do. You're probably not going to sell a full 20% of the book room on this one, but you will sell 10%. So 10% of 500 people is 50. You are going to sell a product for $800. And let me tell you what that product looks like. That product is an $800 4-week, once per week webinar. So one time per week, you're going to do a webinar. It's going to cost $800. You're going to sell it to the people in the audience, and you're going to sell it at not the back of the room, the front of the room. Because if you sell it at the back of the room, you're never going to get there. You need to sell it to the front of the room where people are going to come to the front of the room and they're going to do you're going to do an encore presentation. If you sell it to about 50 people, you are going to turn a $4,000 engagement right then. And by the way, 10% is low. I'm just being conservative. I usually sell 25% and 15% of the room based on what I'm selling. So if you're selling in my numbers, you're going to do somewhere around $6,000, right? And I'm being very conservative here. You're going to do around $6,000 in sales right then at the front of the room with your $800 product. What is this $800 product? It's a webinar. You're going to go to the little FedEx, Kinko's. You're going to print off your little flyer. You're going to pass it out to your room. And guess what? You're going to right then sell it right there front from the stage, and it's just one line. The one line you're going to say is this: if you want to have this result, then meet me at the front of the room. No, that's it. That's your entire sell. See, if you've done your job during the keynote, which we teach people how to do in craveable keynotes, if you've done your job in the keynote, then by the time you get to the end of that keynote, you don't have to sell anything. In fact, you're not selling during the keynote, not in a very direct way where you're going, buy my stuff, please, Lord Jesus. But no, we're not doing that. We are speaking in such a way that people are sitting there going, How can I get that? See, so many times we're so busy chasing the dollar that we don't recognize that chasing the dollar gets us the weakest, cheapest dollar. But when the dollar chases us, only the strongest, fastest dollar, which is usually a Benjamin, can catch me. So if you want to get high-end dollars, you have to start thinking from a high-end perspective. You got to change your mindset. Stop selling your $20 book that you're actually only going to make, that you're selling for $15 at the conference that cost you $7. So now you're really only making $8 per book. Come on, seriously, stop that. Instead, make sure that you're selling a webinar along with that book. In other words, if you want to buy my book at a conference and you want me to sign it, oh, no. You're paying $800, $1,000, $1,200, whatever the number is, to come to my webinar that's happening once a week for the next 4 weeks. I am then going to convert those people that came to my webinar into higher-end clients. So you can turn a free or low-paid speaking engagement into a higher-end engagement, but you have to be smart about it. You have to be super smart about it. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Listen, if you're going to be in the Miami area October 20th or 21st, or if you're going to be there October 31st and November 1st, I am doing a free high profit speaking Jumpstart event. It's just a 2-hour workshop. I answer all your questions in regards to getting in the speaking business. Beyond that, I'm also doing a high profit speaking boot camp. It's 2.5 days. It's in Orlando. It's November 21st and 22nd. It is, and half day on the 23rd for those people who want to stay over. It is high profit, where you are going to learn everything from the very beginning. What is your strength? What is your expertise? How do you turn what you offer into a very salient offering that event planners cannot resist? How do you then create a business? Not just a message, dude. It's not just about the shit that's coming out of your mouth. You have to know how to run a speaking business. And so this is the business of speaking. If you're interested in that, let me know. All you got to do is send me a direct message or just write in the comments, interested. If you write interested, I'll do the rest of the work. It's hot, but for right now, if you're really interested in understanding what's going on in Orlando and Miami, go to HighProfitBootCamp.com, HighProfitBootCamp.com. If you're interested in coming to the deep dive 2.5 day thingamajiggy, just write interested and I'll get back to you. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great one.